Hi and welcome to Reseller News. My name is Rich Pasini. Today is October 7th, 2019. Thank you for tuning in. I just want to start off by saying thank you to all the new subscribers who recently subscribed to my channel. It is greatly appreciated. I hope you like the content. Come back for more. Today I got some eBay news and I want to share it with you guys really quick. And these are the topics we're going to be talking about, so I hope you can stick around. I have to put my glasses on, but I just had to write on my pad. First one is reporting bad buyers to eBay can cost you. Number 2, sellers say eBay sales turn on and off. And number 3, check your eBay transactions for duplicate payments for September 30th. That's coming up on the Reseller News. Stick around. Okay, for those who are new, I do not read everything verbatim. I will give you the URLs to where I got the information from, and the rest is up to you if you like to pick up where I left off. However, if you decide not to go to the website itself, just keep in mind that there are active hyperlinks on these websites, and in order to activate them or check them out, you will need to go directly to these websites. So just keep that in mind. I'm not going to keep repeating it, just to let you guys know. The prior subscribers know all about this here, so it's just basically this goes out to the new subscribers. But anyway, let's get right to it. This first one is from e-commerce bytes, and the URL is www.ecommercebytes.com. This story came out October 6, 2019, and it goes on to say reporting bad buyers to eBay can cost you. Let's read a little more into this here, folks. Sellers often describe challenges dealing with buyer disputes. The topic came up in 2 recent threads on the eBay discussion boards, specifically disputes or returns, so we visited the eBay help pages for a refresher. We were struck anew with one of eBay's policies. If a seller asks eBay to step in and help with the dispute, and eBay finds on behalf of the buyer, the seller could receive a defect, and that could ultimately lead to seller paying higher fees. I don't agree with this here, folks. Now, as you guys know, I've been with eBay. Well, for those who are new, don't know, I've been with eBay since July of 1999 for 20 years with eBay, and I've been selling on and off. That's why I don't have a big feedback score, in case people are wondering. But being I started getting heavily into selling on eBay, which I have doing full time, I have to honestly say it's been a lot. There's been a lot of uphill battles with eBay and their, with all their programs they roll out, and all these new things they're implementing in this system leads me to believe that there was a lot of changes going on there, which I'm sure a lot of us know, including yourselves. Well, if you don't, just read the Reseller, check into the Reseller News. I try to bring this information to your attention so you know where you stand, where I stand with eBay. I have a love-hate relationship with eBay, but I always say it in a joking way. I say I love eBay when I'm making money, and I hate them when I'm not. But again, that's all a joking matter. But anyway, the last thing we need to do is pay higher fees. Now, I have the starter store, which gives you free, 100 free listings every month, and anything over that, if you go over 100 listings, your insertion fee is 30 cents versus 35 cents without the store. But anyway, with that pushed aside, let's just go a little more into this here. I just wanted to throw that out there for you guys out there, just to let you know where I come from, where I stand with eBay. I'm not here to put eBay down and make any derogative statements with you, but I will highlight and bring things out to people's attentions when it comes to certain things of this nature, where I feel it's imperative that you guys should know what's going on, especially if it affects you as a seller. So let's read a little more in here. Now, I didn't go to the I don't think I clicked this on, but I did go to some of the eBay community pages. I'm going to read more into this here. There's a little more involved in here, so I want to share some stuff with you guys. Okay. It goes on to say you could ask eBay to step in if they feel the buyer has been misrepresented. The reason for the return, eBay will review your request and take appropriate action. Remember, when you ask eBay to step in and help without successfully resolving the issue directly with your buyer, and eBay finds on behalf of the buyer, it will result in a defect. Okay. I had issues with that once before, and I had it corrected. where a buyer would say one thing, and like in other words, if I put something in the let's say my description, my ad, and let's say for example, I sold a printer, which I have, it was being sold for parts not working. The buyer had returned it with the notation in there that the seller sold me a defective item, and the reason we're selling it back was not as described, when in fact it was described as for parts not working, and eBay was in my favor. So in certain cases like that, you got to bring it to eBay's attention. However, they do record all these here, like I said, not only your phone calls, but they read the messages back and forth between you and your buyer. So that's documented. So you never really have to worry too much about this, especially if you're on the right. And they keep good records. You keep good records. Whatever. When it comes to responding to buyers, they'll take that into consideration. And if you want to right, eBay will stick up for you. They will work with you. They have for me. So I really can't say anything bad about eBay as far as that part goes. But this came out, like I said, October 6th. So this is pretty new information. So let's read a little more into this, because I want to get a little more into it as we go along. For those unfamiliar with eBay's seller defects, they contribute to the seller's performance standards. Sellers who fall below the eBay minimum performance standards, I think I had that window open up, we're going to get to that shortly, face a number of possible consequences. eBay may limit your selling activity. eBay may penalize them in search. Oh, wow. Well, that's the next story I'm going to read is going to probably be related to this here, folks. Remember that one there. eBay may penalize them in search. Keep that in mind, okay? Hold on to that one. eBay may charge them a higher final value fees. Okay, so that goes without saying, but the one that's got me right here, this is the one I'm interested in, that caught my eye. Okay? This one right here. This one caught my eye right here. So keep that in mind, folks. All right? eBay doesn't dispute the fact that our bad buyers are on its site, but if sellers are concerned they may have encountered a bad buyer and asked for help, eBay will penalize them for doing so if it finds in favor of the buyer. Look, if there's a problem with the buyer and you got concrete proof or evidence that you did the right thing, you did everything by the book, your description was, you wrote your description, everything was as described, and let's say you're sending an item out, it was with delivery tracking or whatever, and it got to the buyer, or let's say signature delivery confirmation, and somebody has signed for it. If you have all of that, I can't say so much for delivery confirmation, but the signature delivery confirmation is very important these days, especially selling on eBay, because every now and then you're going to get a buyer is going to say, I never received the item. And, and here's the thing. I just want to say one thing. I just want to hash out a little on that part. In cases like that, folks, when you hear a buyer saying never received the item, sometimes, not all, but for the good majority of the time, you got to give a little credence to them and say, well, it could be true what the buyer is stating, because I'll tell you why. A while back, I did a video on porch thieves. I think it's at porch thieves. What happens with, just keep this in mind, okay, what I'm about to tell you, and this goes for the new sellers on eBay. If you sell an item on eBay and you do give them a tracking number, the item is tracked from point A to point B. So say that, meaning that when you drop it off at the Postal Service, they get it, they scan it in, boom, the number's tracked, it's got the Postal Service, and then it'll start being on its journey. And the buyer and yourself, you could track this package, its whereabouts. One day it left the post office, the next day it arrived at their post office, and so on and so forth. I think that's pretty cut and dry. But here's what happens. Now, if a buyer lives in a place where it's heavily trafficked, where there's a lot, trafficking, where there's a lot of people walking back and forth, whatever, there's a possibility that once the letter carrier drops that package off, he scans it in, and that it was delivered at such a time on the date. That's it. Once it's out of the postal carrier's hands, it's no longer their responsibility. Okay, so now if somebody sees the letter carrier dropping it off on your porch and they don't get it, someone steals it, yes, the buyer can say never received it. And if you want to avoid all that, I said it before in my other videos, and I'll say it again. Send the items with signature delivery confirmation. Put that additional charge within your handling cost. okay, included in there. This way you have a little peace of mind. And the reason why I say that is because the letter carrier cannot leave an unattended package that was supposed to be signed for on the porch. He cannot do that. He or she cannot do that. Okay? The way I understand it goes back to them. I don't know if they make it. I never really had that experience because I only used it a couple times for me sending it to the buyer. But I think what happens is they'll try it a couple of times. You know, if no, they'll ring the doorbell. If no one's there, I think they're supposed to take it back. And then I think it goes back to the post office. Now, I don't know if they make 2 attempts or 1 attempt or 2 attempts, whatever. And then it goes back to the post office. And then they leave you a slip that you have a package to be signed for at the post office. I think that's the way it used to work. I don't know. I'm quite sure it still does. But at least you know that it's not going to be left at the buyer's house, their residence. If they're not home or whatever, they will physically have to go either to the post office, or if they are home, they physically got to sign for that package. Once you have that signature delivery confirmation, it should be an open and shut case with that. eBay should definitely side with the seller, okay? Because if the seller says, the buyer says, I never received it, but somebody signed for it, well, come on, give me a break. Who did you have signed for it? The Invisible Man? I mean, come on. So if you're a person like that, especially, and here's my take too. I had this discussion with my brother who also sells on eBay. Anything up to $100, you got to have like a threshold for that there, okay? Anything up to $100 or something expensive, jewelry, watches, laptops, high-end electronics, pay the additional cost. The infant has to come out of your pocket, and you have to drop a little in profit because you're saying, well, I'm going to take some of my profit to pay for it. Pay for the signature delivery confirmation. It's well worth it. In the end, you'll have peace of mind, okay? If you get a chance, I don't know what video it is, but I know I did it. I can't go through over 1,000 videos here, but I know I did one about Portuguese. It was something like that there, about scans of Portuguese, whatever. Check it out, and you'll see what I'm talking about, okay? Now I know I went off into a long frenzy over here with this here, but I'm just trying to say I'm not contradicting myself or the sellers and the buyers here in this particular case. I'm just letting you know that there are, for instance, where the buyer can be actually telling you the truth, okay? So, and especially if you are a seasoned seller, as I like to say, and you've been burnt once or twice like that, don't be, going forward, just put in description, from now on, whatever, or attention to buyers, however you want to put in your description, this is going to require a signature, this is going to be a signature delivery, and someone's going to have to be there to sign for this item. Plain and simple, period, and leave it at that. This way, they know on their end, okay, well, I ordered from this seller, I'm going to have to be home, or I'll probably end up picking it up. If I'm not home, I have to pick it up at the post office. It's going to have to be signed for. This way you protect yourself. Okay. So, now, all right. I'm just looking over here. I'm just trying to keep over here. All right. I'm trying to pick up where I left off. Keep in mind, I'm picking up over here now. You see over here where it's highlighted in blue? This is where I'm starting off, folks, right here. Keep in mind that sellers on eBay don't have details about buyers' track record. So they have no way of gauging whether they are dealing with a chronic troublemaker. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Here's another little, for instance, or a little tip that maybe help. Okay. Like, and it says here, keep in mind, sellers on eBay don't have details about the buyer's track record. Well, actually, if they're registered, which they are, eBay sellers or buyers, right? You could go to that buyer who bought off of you. Okay. And you can look at their feedback. Now, if they got a lot of negatives from them leaving it to other sellers, then it might be a telltale sign they can be a chronic complainer. So check out their negative feedbacks if they have them. Okay. Now you might say, well, wait a minute. Suppose the buyer buys it, and I don't get a chance. Well, I'm just trying to say, let's say they open up a dispute case with you. Okay, but here again, keep this in mind. After you do that, after they make the purchase, right? Now you don't know this for sure that they're going to open up a case against you, but let's say they do. What you would do is go to that buyer's feedback, look and see if they leave negative feedbacks for other sellers. And if they're almost similar to yours, you could always contact eBay and say, listen, this buyer who's opening a case against me, I was looking at their feedback, and they've been leaving similar feedbacks to other sellers, and they will investigate it. They will look into it. I'm telling you. So if you come across a situation like that, you could always go back, revert back to the buyer's feedback, especially if they leave a lot of negatives and neutrals, and see what kind of, if they're similar to what they're returning yours for. Okay, keep that in mind. And eBay, in most cases, will investigate and look at it. And if it's similarities are very similar, like to what you're going through, they may just be in favor of you. Okay, so don't rule that out just yet. Okay, now, okay, we already got to that part. Let's go to this one. If eBay wanted to root out bad buyers, wouldn't they encourage sellers to tell them when they suspect a customer is abusing its policies? Okay. Now, that's another way. You could also contact them as well, contact eBay, and you could also, let them know, give them a heads up and say, hey, what's going on here with this here. But, again, see how it plays out, okay? Because in most cases, if you do the right things, you're working by the book, everything should work out for you. Let's read this last part here. Here are the links to 2 threads on eBay's boards about returns where sellers get into the nitty-gritty of what they have experienced. Altered and no longer items will be covered. Do not sell expensive items on eBay. Free returns does not help. Now, I clicked on those windows here. All right. Before we get to that there, let me go over to this one here. Do not sell. Let's go to the first one they had here. Okay. This should be switched. Like, there we go. Okay. Here's an interesting story for you new sellers out there and seasoned sellers in case you weren't aware of it. Pay strict attention. No, I'm only kidding. But no, seriously. Altered items no longer will be covered by eBay. This story came out October 5th, 2019, folks. And it goes on to say, I just called eBay and was told it doesn't matter if someone alters an item, that they can still return it, and eBay will not be covering it or closing the return out. I was told this is an internal change and was not announced. Just an FYI to all sellers. So now I have some used worn underwear coming back to me in the mail. Thank you, eBay. If someone opens a return as a remorse and admits to opening the package or using the item, they can still return it and get at least partial refund back. This is totally unfair. If it comes to undergarments and you're selling brand new undergarments, be it men's or women's, and they get it, they should not be allowed to return it or even get a partial refund. That's my personal take on it. Because now you are stuck with used undergarments. Okay, now I don't know about you, but me, they will be tossed in the garbage. Okay, because I will not take things like that. I would refuse to take that back. And maybe, I don't know, but this is new now. This story came out October 5th, 2019. That's why I like to always give the dates. I always think, well, that was 3 years ago. That was 5 years. No, this came out recently, as you can see up there. And it's in the eBay community. It's on their website, the eBay community website. Okay, this is not my website. This is theirs. Okay, the official eBay community website. Now, it goes on to say, if I could literally buy underwear, use them all within 30 days and open a return and say, I just opened and wore every pair and still get a refund, then why would I not do that? I can just keep buying the items on eBay, using them and returning them, and never have to really pay for anything. Thank you, eBay. Newsflash. I can't afford this either, eBay. They're saying they can't afford it. Why refund the buyer for something like that? Just close the darn thing out and you should be able to return the altered items. This is getting out of hand. Now, you could see here, people are going to respond to this here. There's 70 replies. I'm not going to read all of them. That you go to this here and you can read them yourself. I'd be curious to see what else people say. Wow, we must be one of those newfangled enhanced seller protections. All cheerleaders are applauding. Here's another one. If you don't want buyer returning items, then why do you have free returns? None of us likes returns, but it's part of the business. Yeah, but you see, let's read another one. Free returns is not supposed to cover altering the item and returning it. All right, look, I understand what this person is saying about free returns, but I mean, let's be realistic. I mean, would you want to? First off, I can't say for sure. I never tried it, but I wouldn't sell women's used garments or men's used undergarments on eBay. I don't know if they frown on it or if it's allowed. I never looked into it. So if people want to comment on that there, please do. But I don't sell those type of things. If I do sell anything like that, like I said again, it'd be brand new stuff. I don't know if people are allowed to sell on eBay. I never looked into it. I never did a research on it. Okay, but just because a person, buys something and says they no longer want it, and it's especially pertains to that type of, if it's lingerie and stuff like that, I don't think it's fair that, the seller should take a loss on it. I mean, common sense will tell you, dictates to you, like, hey, you don't do things like that there. I'm not going to buy undergarments. First off, you should know what size you wear anyway. You can't sit there and say if you're like a man wears a size 34 undergarments and he's not going to order a size 35. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got to know your size and stuff like that. And to return something like that, I mean, I would feel like a fool as a buyer. Buying something, returning it, especially. I don't want to get too expand much on this topic. This is for you guys to check it out, okay? Like I said, on the Reseller News, I like to bring things out to people, to your attention. In case you're never aware of it, now you know. Now you know what steps to take, and you know what to look for. Go to the eBay community, or when you go to the Seller Performance dashboard here, you could read some of that there. Let's see. It might not be this one here. Okay, let's see. Transaction defect rates. Okay, fair. This is something else. Now, this is the Seller Performance policy. We'll get to that in a little bit. We open another one up here. Again, now I look at this here, and I say, we all want good, ratings, top rated. Like I said here, current seller level, top rated. If we evaluate today, top rated. Transaction defect rates 2, whatever, late shipment 0, cases closed, the solution 0, tracking upload on time value 100%. That's all good. We as sellers, we all want to have that type of top rated, top rated seller. We want to be like that. We want to have all these little perks. And not only that, you also get 10% discount when you're a top rated seller. But again, if you're going to have certain things that's going to create problems for you, that's not going to be a good thing. That's where you start losing all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? It could affect you. Now, let's bump out of this one here. We already went into this one here. If you want to read more into it, I highly recommend you go to the eBay community chat board there, and you could read more into it. So let's bump out of this window. Now, here's another one. This is the second one that was on that first page. Remember here? We just did this one. Altered items will be no longer covered on eBay. And this one here is do not sell expensive items on eBay. Free returns does not help. Okay. Now, again, this is on that first story. Okay. And this is what I was trying to tell you. Now, if you don't want to read it off this video, you could also go directly to the website, which I always recommend you do. And these in bluish or purplish wording here, you could read there. These are all active hyperlinks. Okay. Keep that in mind. All right. Maybe we'll come back to this afterwards. Let's see, troublemaker. Right. I'm just looking over here. Okay, we did that there. Okay, yeah, we did. All right, we already read all of that there. Okay, so this is the story you want to read. But let's go over here now. Again, this is the second one on that first page. Okay, this next one here is do not sell expensive items on eBay. Free returns does not help. This story came out October 5th, 2019. Another recent one. It says when you sell anything expensive and you are a target by a thief or destructive customer, one of two things will happen. If you offer free returns, and if you don't, one thing will happen. Excuse me. For those who don't offer free returns, the buyer will automatically get their money back as eBay will rule in their favor. Now, keep this in mind, folks. This is very important information here. This is new stuff. This is from other people now putting this out. This is not me. Okay, I'm just reading what's left on the eBay community. Here, it's right here. Right here, you see it? That's it. This is not me. I'm sharing this information with you guys so you don't get stuck, or at least you'll be, you'll be up to snuff as what's going on here. Okay? For those who don't offer free returns, the buyer automatically gets their money back as eBay will rule in their favor. If you offer free returns, say you sold a $1,500 laptop, and the buyer says item is not as described and sends back a rock instead, you have two options. Give the buyer $1,500 for his rock, which wouldn't fly with me. I'd definitely be appealing this and fighting it to tooth and nail. Or you could give him as low as $750 for it. eBay will show another option when you are issuing a refund called issue with the buyer. You issue with the buyer. Don't even click it because it's like flipping a rigged coin. Heads, the buyer wins, tails, you lose. Now, again, this is why I love doing the reseller news, because you know something? Not only you guys learning from it, but I am too. Okay, and this is why I put this information. I want you guys out there to stay safe. You know, when it comes to selling, I don't want to see you guys get stiffed, you know, getting taken advantage of. So please, you know, when I put this information out, read it. Read it verbatim if you can. Or if you can't, you know, you don't have the time, come back to this video or go to that website and check it out. But please, for your own safety, for your own good, you know, listen to what I'm telling you. That's why I take the initiative and the time to do this. It's to help you guys out. Help me out too. Help me out, you know. All right. So it goes on to say here, you will click it, okay, and the buyer says, okay, he sends you an empty box. Let's just read that. You'll click it. You click it, and it says buyer returns wrong item or empty box. That's crazy. But after speaking with 2 reps and a supervisor, I was informed that eBay will automatically decide the case in the buyer's favor. This is what upsets me with eBay. I love eBay, but when I hear things like this, it bothers me. And you know, if eBay starts losing a lot of sellers and buyers, because buyers are sellers too, they're doing it to themselves. They're going to create their own demise. Okay, by doing things like this, always showing favors for the buyer. Now I'm not contradicting myself, because eBay has been good to me. I have to honestly say, but I can't speak. I mean, I'm not speaking on behalf of them, and I'm not an advocate for them. Although I will defend them if they're right and they're doing something I don't like. I will speak against it. Like now, I love eBay, but I think what they're doing is by having this type of practice within their selling platform is going to someday cause an exodus where enough sellers are going to get tired of it and they're going to go elsewhere. So eBay, if you're listening out there, you need to change your policies around, and you can't always show favor for the buyers. Your sellers are what's keeping you in business too. I mean, it works hand in hand. You know, the sellers make the money and so forth, and you know we know it works hand in hand. But you know, you got to be there for your sellers too. You know, and when other people see this stuff here, they're going to get upset. So you really need to get more into this and change it around. But let's read a little more into it. So why put the option there if a seller returns the wrong item, empty, a wrong item empty, or, you know, wrong item or empty box, if it will never help the seller? Okay. Then it goes on to say here, but I have a video evidence of me opening the package of what the buyer sent me and the photo of what was posted that received showing 2 different items. Sorry, eBay, don't accept the video evidence. Wow. So now I would think just the opposite, because I like to do videos in some cases where I show the thing working and so on and so forth. Okay, well, maybe something changed recently, because this came out October 5th. So like I said again, anything is possible. But I can't file a police report with that video evidence showing mail fraud, because I had to do it twice as a buyer, and an eBay was the one who sent me to get them, which I did not, which I did, and got my money back. Which I did get my money back. Okay. Okay. The supervisor actually told me that in this case, a police or incident report is not applicable because I am the seller and not the buyer. Guys, don't sell anything you cannot afford to lose, because your only option you will have is to pay the buyer to keep your item. Now, someone said to me, well, Rich, you seem to have some tips on how to do things of this nature. Well, you know, it becomes it's like a slippery slope here when it comes to things like this here. The only thing I would say, first off, a $1,500 item. You know, here's the thing. Here's how I look at it. If you're selling an item, okay, this is where eBay's got to change their rule. If you're selling, let's say you sold a $1,500 laptop. Now, you have a picture, right? You got the picture of it taken all different angles, this, that, and the other thing, and it's in your description. It's coming from you. You are the official seller of that item. The first thing I would do, anything that expensive, definitely, without doubt, send it with a signature delivery confirmation. That's number one, because along with this, They're saying the buyer could send it back, send you a rock or whatever, or they got it. They're entitled to. We're getting half of that money back, whatever. Send it with a signature delivery confirmation. That's number one. Number two, I would definitely appeal it and try to fight it as best I can. Because first off, if you have the proof and the picture that you took pictures of this item and that buyer is what's selling it, again, it should be an open and shut case. Seriously, I mean, eBay shouldn't even quabble about this here and say, well, we don't know. I didn't see the picture. How do I know he sent it back as a rock? Because now they're not going to believe, now it's your word against theirs. You know what I'm saying? The buyer can say, well, I did send it back. That's what the seller's saying. I know it goes back and forth. It's like that infinite loop there. It just keeps spinning around. I don't know if he sent it back. He told me he sent it. I don't know if you sent it, whatever. But, I know, like I said, it sounds contradicting there because at the same time I'm telling you guys, if you have pictures on there, which you do, that's how the buyer ended up selling it. I mean, that's how the buyer ended up buying it. But then in a case like this, what they're talking about, the buyer sends you an empty box, or in this case, a rock instead. Let's just say, I don't know if they use it as an example. It's kind of crazy. I mean, I don't know what to say with this. Thank God I never had a situation like that. Okay? I hope and pray I never do have a situation like that. But with something like that, a matter of fact, I'll be honest with you, not only would I put signature, well, you get delivery tracking confirmation with eBay when you print out their label. Not only would I send it with signature delivery confirmation, I would definitely insure it too, for that amount of money and then some. Now people say, okay, what's the big deal for the insurance? Well, just in case for your own good, let's say it got dropped off a truck or something got really damaged on it. At least you had the paperwork. Now let me explain one thing to you, okay? And this is what I will share with you guys. Now I had sold a while back a ceramic outdoor fixture lamp, a porch lantern. When I sent it out to the buyer, it was packed. It had foam around it. It was everything. You would have to literally drop it off a 10-foot 10-foot high ceiling, whatever, roof or whatever. It got to the buyer. It was broken. They took pictures of it. They showed me pieces. It was broken. Okay. Now, thank God, I sent it with priority mail. It's tracked and shipped. Insured and tracked with priority mail up to $50. The item was around that price. I sold it for $25 or $30, whatever. But they pay $25 for it. They don't include the shipping. I think it was $25 I sold for. Yeah. So anyway, I opened the claim, and not only that, the U.S. Postal Service, I do exclusively all my business with the United States Postal Service. You had to go online to do it because I called up the Postal Service and I asked for the customer service rep, and they said no, those claims have to be done online. So I said, okay, no problem. We did it online, and I was told, am I going to get the full amount, shipping included? This is what they told me. This is what the rep told me, the U.S. Postal Service rep. You do not get the shipping back. You will get what the buyer paid for it. I print out from PayPal transaction detail sheet, and it's a good thing I did, because when you have to send copies, they want copies of what the item was sold for. You may want to do that, folks. Print out transaction detail sheets from, if you're using PayPal, use it from, you print those sheets out. I do. And let me tell you something, that helped. The only thing that bothered me was I took a loss on the shipping, but at least I got the money back for the lantern. Okay, it was like $25 I sold it for, and I think the shipping was either $5 or $6 or whatever it was. You don't get that back. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Okay, but it was tracked and short of the $50, so I was in that ballpark range. If you're going to sell something like this for $1,500. Definitely insure it. Use signature delivery confirmation. Now, I know you're probably saying, well, that's kind of like off key here. We're talking about getting an item back instead of like an empty box, or like this one saying a rock instead. eBay's not going to stand by you. Well, that's when you have to peel it and you have to keep fighting it. You got to keep fighting it. Seriously. Because first off, if that's the case, that's a heck of a lot of money to lose. I don't know about you guys. I'm going to fight it tooth and nail. All right? I understand how eBay's, I understand some of their policies and the way they look at it. You can't always keep looking in the buyer's favors. They know that there are a lot of crafty people out there doing this garbage, and it's not right. Okay, but I don't want to expand too much on this topic here. Let's see what else they got over here. I'm seeing here, empty box. Okay, and they had a video. I think we told the police department. Okay, we read this here. Well, this person here, and I have to say the same thing if I do go back to here. Thank you for sharing the story. I have a set limit of $200 value for items I sell. I can't afford a hit like that. I can't afford even a $50 item. Yes, eBay will take the money from your account. I will only stick to the cheaper items. I think I'll even stop selling phones on here too, and just do nothing above $20. Right? You see how it kind of like, because of things like this here, one bad apple, how it makes people's mindset think different. Now, this person's going to sell nothing more than a $20 item, right? Guys, don't sell anything on here that you can't afford to lose. That is the same advice given by many of us in the last decade or more. True, and so very, very sad. Look, I'm not going to read more into this. Like I said, I know, like I said, some people will say, these people here that go on these chat boards here, they talk a lot of negative things, and I'm sorry if people feel that way. I'm not bad mouthing eBay in that respect of saying, like putting them down and stuff, but they really need to change that policy around. They need to work more for the sellers. And as another window here, I'm going to show you in a second here, you know what this one is. Again, it's on eBay community. If you want to read more into it, I recommend you check it out to read what other people are saying. A lot of people who do follow me, I haven't heard too many, but some people will say, well, if you go to those sites there, all they do is they talk negative. Some people, it's not a question of being negative or putting down a company. They're expressing themselves. They got burnt and they need to share it with people. So I don't look at it as, oh, these are negative people telling you not to sell on eBay, this, that, and the other thing. These are people that got burnt and they want to share it with them. They want to share the information with the rest of us. So it all depends how you look at it that way. If you want to look at it as that they're bad mouthing eBay, then so be it. But me, I look at it a little different. And I will continue to put stuff like this out here on the Reseller News to share with people. If people get a bad takeaway from it, think it's a negative thing, then so be it. I don't look at it that way. But anyway, let me bump out of here. And now here's the seller protection one here. This is from the, well, I'm not sure if this was the one from the spring. Okay, you see it, 2019 Fall Seller Update. See what's new. Check this out. eBay protects you. When you sell on eBay, you're protected by the policies, transaction monitoring, and data systems that make eBay safe and vibrant community. You can sell with confidence. You can sell with confidence. Repeat that. Because our dedicated seller protection team works around the clock to enforce policies and tracks problems before they start. Backed by a large-scale automated detection system monitoring millions of transactions every day. Our team uses world-class technology so you can focus on your business. Read up on our policies and best practice, then get back to doing what you do, what you're great at. Selling on eBay, protection policies. Seller protection policies, see all the ways you're covered when you sell on eBay. Customer service, buyer protection, buyer practices policy. Okay? Look, they got to work in conjunction with one another. They got to protect the buyer because there's good and bad on both sides. There's good sellers and there's bad sellers. There's good buyers and there's bad buyers. Okay, so eBay, they're neutral. They're the mitigators between the buyers and the sellers. So you got to expect this to happen. And again, people may say, well, it sounds like you stick up for eBay. You're an advocate for them. No, I only speak. I try to look at things with fairness and sincerity. It's like anything else. They're between, what's that old saying, between the devil and the deep blue sea. They hear it on both ends. When you call up customer service, the eBay teammates, they hear it all the time. They get all the complaints and everything. I always call them the foot soldiers of eBay. If people call up sellers, buyers, and they sit there complaining, oh, I got a bad deal from a seller, I got a bad deal from a buyer, and so on and so forth. They hear about this stuff all day. So that's another thing, too. When you call up an eBay teammate, don't yell and scream at them because that's not going to do anything. Okay? You're not going to do anything. That's not going to help by screaming at them because they're going to take the information down. They'll open up a case for you, and so be it. So don't get yourself all huffy, all riled up for nothing. State your case. Use diplomacy. Be kind and courteous to them because they're nice people. I spoke to many of them in my day, not for complaints, but for information updates and all other stuff. And they've been very helpful to me. And, I have a lot of respect for them because, like I said, I've been in a situation like that, and I know what that job is all about. And believe me, it's not as easy as you think. You might see people say, well, they sit there and answer calls. How hard could it be? No, but you're not the one dealing with irate buyers and sellers, screaming and yelling at them because I asked them one time. I said, you get people calling you up, screaming, yelling, and cursing. Oh, yes, we do. And I would tell them that's not right. They're not there to be, the punching bag, so to speak. You don't call up the teammates when you got a problem on eBay and start saying, I'm going to really give it to them, So try to use diplomacy, be respectful with them when you're talking to them. State your case and let it be at that there. You open up a case with them, they'll work with you. Trust me, they do. When they told me one time, when we find out, Mr. Pasini, what the situation is, we'll call you. And believe it, they have gotten back to me. I have to honestly say, they have gotten back to me, and they work with me. Them and PayPal. So I have to say kudos and tip my hat to them because they've been very fair with me. And when I did have the little minor situations with particular buyers, they worked with me hand in hand. So I have no really qualms with them. I can't say anything bad about the eBay customer service or PayPal's customer service. Okay, just this last part here. When you report a buyer, we listen. When a buyer has violated a buying practice policy, let us know. You may be helping the whole eBay community. And then you could hit this button here, report a buyer, okay? And then they got some other information here. You may want to check it out, okay? Now, with the automatic default removal, when you click it on, you can go like this here if you want to have an automatic default removal here, okay? What is a defect and so on. You could put in for this here, okay? In some cases, if you feel that was duly adjusted, that it shouldn't have a defect in there, you could contact them. A defect here, it tells you what is a defect. A defect is a part of a transaction that eBay considers to have created a bad shopping experience for buyers. A transaction can get defected in two ways. When a seller cancels a transaction for out of stock, if a seller is unable to resolve the problem through a resolution center, and eBay and PayPal steps in, and the seller is found responsible. Now, I will say this. Some people probably don't know about this here. Okay. Now, if you don't know, that's why I'm trying to tell you. If you are a seller or if you are a seasoned seller, maybe you're not familiar with this here. Keep this in mind. It will affect you. Now, I was going to take an item off out of eBay, and I was told again, if the item, when a seller cancels, like I said, a transaction for out of stock, that will affect that. That's a defect. That'll cause a defect. Okay. If you have an item on there, now here's a for instance. I had a situation like this here where I called up just to protect myself, just to make sure, where I had an item that got damaged in the storage facility. It was listed on eBay. It had no buyers on it. It had watches, but no buyers. There's a difference between buyers and watches, of course. A person watching, the way I understand, it doesn't have any effect on it. I called up eBay, said, look, I went to the storage facility. There was an item that I have listed on eBay right now. It's been damaged. Can I remove it? You can remove it. I was told, as long as there's no bids on it, if you were doing a bidding, if you had like a fixed, if you have not fixed stuff, you have an auction style. Mine are always fixed prices. As long as there's no bids on it, then you could do that. Now, if someone makes, how is the other thing here? If someone makes a best offer and you don't respond, I think that'll also cause it too. If you just cancel it out. In other words, if it's an active link and one of those two things, or I have those type of situations where a buyer made a best offer on it and you didn't respond to it, but and you call up eBay and say, I want to cancel it, or let's say you don't, and you cancel automatic, that I believe is going to cause a defect because, first of all, a buyer put in a best offer, you didn't respond. Okay, I think that'll cause a defect if I'm not mistaken. The other thing is, if you have a buyer that put a bid on it and you decide to cancel it out, that's going to cause a problem. Okay, that will be a defect. So be careful with that there. If you're unsure, I tell this a lot of times in some of my videos, if you're unsure of something, call up eBay. The number's out there. They got a number on there. You can Google it, or even if I can even put it in here, whatever, in a comment. Call them up and ask. Take a little time out of your day. If you're not too busy, if you are a little busy, take a little time out, especially if you're an eBay seller and you want to keep good seller performance. Call them up and find out and let them advise you as to what to do. Okay? Here's another one I want to share really quick. A buyer was supposed to pay for an item, told me they were going to pay for it, and they said, could you wait a couple of days? I'll pay for the item. I figured what it was. I think it was a Cura coffee pot. And I waited a couple of days, and the buyer, when I checked the buyer on the last day, I think it was the fifth day, it said the transaction to go through, whatever. So I called up eBay and I said, look, can I cancel it out? Because the buyer told me to cancel it. And they said, no, you have to open up a case, an unpaid item case. I said, but that's going to affect the buyer. She said, well, in order to protect you, that's what you have to do. She told me, if you cancel it out, it's going to reflect on you're going to get a defect, a defect on your seller performance. So I said, okay, if that's what I got to do, that's what I got to do. She know you have to do that if you want to maintain a good top-rated seller performance. I had to open up an unpaid buyer case. So unfortunately, the buyer is going to get a ding on their account because I didn't know that there. That affects them. So now they're going to have that case, they're going to have that defect on their end because they didn't make the payment. So you see, just be careful. Be careful when it comes to things like that. Because if I would have just said, okay, I'm going to cancel it out, end the listing, that's automatically going to cause a problem for me. So please keep that in mind. All right, I'm not going to expand too much on that. This is a seller level performance and standards. You could always check it out. Here, the reason why I'm showing you this one here, if you go to customer service, okay, this again on eBay's help selling seller levels performance, you could check it out. You could appeal a defect. They got account holds, restrictions, suspensions, service metrics, okay? Becoming top rated, and you can read all this information here, but you got to go to the, you just scroll down here too, you could also read it too. And you can read all this information here, okay? And this will be more, you'll get some more information out of this here, okay? But check it out, and yeah. I'm just going to be a top takeaway. Your seller performance is a little affected by your transaction defect rate, cases closed without seller resolution, late shipments, and tracking validation. It all depends on how serious you are with eBay. If you're not a serious person, like you say, I don't really care, it's eBay. I don't care if I get a defect or whatever. That's up to you. But if you're a person that loves selling eBay and you're doing this as a career or you're doing it as making a living out of it, you might want to keep up with the seller levels and performance standards because not only that, the better you do, the better you do that there, stay within those, the guidelines, the better it's going to look for you and your buyers when they see that you're a top-rated seller, you have 100% positive feedback. I believe that's going to help out. And, well, I think so anyway. All right, enough with that. Check it out. Okay, let's go to another window here. Let's bump this one out. We already did this one here. And now we're going to go to another interesting one. This one came out October 5th. Another one that came out October 5th, right? That was on the eBay community chat board. This one came out. Seller says eBay turns sales on and off. Someone had written into Ina. For those who don't know, Ina Steiner is the owner of e-commerce Bytes. Okay, you already know the URL. So let's read into it. It says, Dear Ina, I've always been one of those folks who were on the fence regarding they can't see me. Meaning Pasini, search on eBay. I am now convinced eBay either hides sellers on rotating basis or hides individual listings. I have had a listing that started June 3rd for the very obscure medical supply, reasonably priced, including free shipping. I sold my first lot on June 28th, then nothing until last weekend. Suddenly, on September 9th, I sold 4 lots to one buyer, and then again on September 10th, I sold another lot. The listing had 171 views between 6/3/19 to 9/10/19. I believe one of the following 2 scenarios were in play. My listings as a seller were hidden, or number 2, my listings for this particular item was hidden. Okay? My price, including free shipping, would still be the best value on eBay today. What I don't understand is why this is happening at a company who's trying to squeeze every single penny out of every single seller. Why not show all the listings to all buyers and let them make the best choice? I'm not a top-rated seller, TRS, but I do have 100% positive reviews since 1998. B, is that whoever that is, and you can read the comments. This is a story you want to look for. Now, I want to say one thing in regards to this here. Remember I was telling you before when we got back to that other one, I said keep that on eBay turns the sales on or whatever. Or maybe, or if you have bad ratings, eBay may hide your listings, whatever. That's why I highlighted that, because I was referring to this. Now, again, I don't know where people get their information from. This could just be an assumption, people assuming. And we know what they say about assuming. Now, I don't know, okay? If this was an actual thing, an actual scenario where eBay was hiding the sellers, selling, hiding the seller, the listings as a seller were hidden, or a particular item was hidden, I don't know. But I don't know where the information comes from when these people post it out there. But I will say some little oddities in my own thing. Again, I'm not speaking on behalf of eBay in a bad way. Like I said, I've been on eBay for 20 years. I'm still there selling today. The only thing I did notice, and somebody else brought it out in one of the chat boards, that they noticed that towards the end of the month, their items would sell. And the reason why I think the items would sell is because at the end of the month, eBay wanted to get paid, right? I mean, think about it. It stands to reason, right? You get paid, you get billed monthly. So to me, I could be wrong, but it seemed to me on a couple occasions I noticed I was making sales at the end of the month. The beginning of the month would be stagnant, and towards the end of the month I was making some sales. I don't know if you guys were experiencing the same scenario like that. If you did, share it with us. Put it in the comments below. I'd like to hear what you have to say about it. Okay, I'm just curious to know what you have to say. All right. You can read the rest of the story, and they got some. These are the comments, and I would highly recommend you go to the the website itself. If you don't, you could just pause this video and you could read it like that way. You could read it like that. Just pause and read with comments what people have to say about this stuff. Okay. The reason why I always tell people to read the comments, because sometimes people bring things that you and I may not have been familiar with, or never, you might not have realized that that's what was going on behind the scenes. These people may have experienced it, and that's why they're sharing it with us. Okay. So again, and something, people that leave comments on whether it be this site or the eBay community, you can't always look at it as like these are negative people. They're just frustrated, and they're probably just upset about the things that are going on within their personal situations with selling on eBay, and they want to share with the world. Basically, well, the eBay world, the eBay community, whatever. But you can't always look at it like, well, they're bad mouthing the company. That's not right. They're always saying negative stuff. Like I said again, I don't look at it that way. I look at that they're just expressing themselves. And I don't find anything wrong with this 2 page. I'm not going to go to the next page. You guys, that's why I said, if you want to, I highly recommend you go to the website itself, and you could read more into this here, okay? The URL. I'm bumping out to the last window here. As I said in my story, my opening, this is the last one, and the story is from TameBay, and the URL is www.tamebay.com. This story, let me move this up here, came out October 3rd, 2019. As you can see, it's TameBay, selling on marketplaces. Check your eBay transactions for duplicate payments on the 30th of September. This came out by Chris Dawson. We heard the word that on the 30th of September, some buyers were told their payments on eBay hadn't been processed, and so October 1st made a duplicate payments. eBay is only showing the order as taken place on October 1st with the correct payment amount. However, checking PayPal revealed duplicate payments. Okay. Again, I'm not going to get too much into this here. I highly recommend you go to this website, because you can see right along here, all on the side here, these are all active hyperlinks. You could read more into this here. Okay. There's not much more to read. After they state their little case here, you could go down and you could read some of the comments. Okay. And again, if you don't want to go, I will scroll down to the bottom, but I think you should. This is the bottom here. And if you want to have your say, you need to log in over here. They want the name required, email, and if you have a website, put it there, and you have to submit. And if you want to be notified when people do follow-up comments to your response, you click on this little checkbox here, and you will be notified. And with that, folks, I am going to close out the reseller news, because I got some other stuff that needs to be taken care of. And I just want to share this with you. So let me bump out of here really quick. Well, that concludes the reseller news for October 7th, 2019. I hope you guys out there got a takeaway from it. And if you did, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share. And if you want to be updated as to when I post out new videos, please hit that bell notification icon. My name is Rich Pasini. Today's October 7th, 2019. You're watching Reseller News. And before I close out this video, I just want to state to you out there, if you are new or you just happen to hit this channel because the thumbnail caught your attention, or maybe you are an eBay seller, or maybe you're just thinking about starting to sell on eBay, you may want to subscribe to my channel because I post that on a daily basis. And as I stated in my other videos, it could be basically about any other thing outside of eBay, but for the most part, I do post about reselling eBay, reselling news, let's talk eBay, and a little in between, different topics, that is. So if you want new, fresh content and you want to be, up to snuff on e-commerce, please subscribe to my YouTube channel here. And by you subscribing, believe it or not, even though my channel is not monetized, because I'm trying to obtain 1,000 subscribers, which is very hard. So I'd hope that you guys out there will like my YouTube videos, and you will subscribe and share the information out there, like, comment, and share with others out there who will maybe be interested in my videos, and maybe you might be interested in selling on eBay and so on. But yes, I'm trying to hit that 1,000 subscriber mark. It hasn't been an easy road to get there. I get the subscribers and end up losing them. I hope I can keep them. But as I said in my other videos, if there is anything that you guys want me to discuss, even if it's outside of eBay or e-commerce related, let me know. I'll be more than happy to oblige in any way I can. If you need information on some of my videos I put out in the past, please don't hesitate to check them out. Leave comments on them. I do respond to those comments. I've been getting comments on videos that I posted out 2 or 3 years ago. Believe it or not, people are asking questions, and I will get back to them. As long as they're nice comments, I will get back to you and respond to them. It could be for all different things. I've done in the past demo videos, intro videos, and sneak peek videos. And now I added to the mix Reseller News and Let's Talk eBay. That's why if you look at my YouTube banner, it says Online Reseller, Entrepreneur, and Vlogger. So that's what vloggers do too, by the way, folks. We do daily vlogs. Every day we do something. Again, it could be something totally off key. Matter of fact, I usually do videos on what the items are going to be selling up on eBay. So you may see those pop up every now and then. But anyway, I just want to state to you guys out there, thank you again so much for taking the time out of your busy day to check out my this video. And if you checked out any of my other videos, I want to say thank you. And I'm wishing you all happy eBay sales. And I just want to also state this. The information I post on my YouTube channel when it deals with eBay is not in any way to make derogative statements or badmouth them. I do love eBay. I've been with them since July of 1999. I've been selling with them for 20 years, on and off. And the whole premise and purpose behind my YouTube channel is to help, inspire, and share. And if you are new and you are thinking about selling on eBay, please watch my watch the Reseller News and watch the other videos I talk about. And the Let's Talk eBay, just to share this with you, where people may say, well, they almost sound similar. Well, the Reseller News, basically, the Reseller News is dealing with what's going on with eBay itself. The Let's Talk eBay may be a personal thing or personal situation that I may have had with eBay, and I want to share it with you. Again, and that's not to badmouth or be very negative about eBay, but I might want to talk to you about something I had sold, or maybe I want to share something that I had a situation with a buyer and we worked things out or we didn't, whatever. But it's basically a personal experience I had with eBay. So whenever you see the Let's Talk eBay, that's going to be about something that happened with me in regards to an issue I had with eBay. Be it a buyer or whatever, or maybe I might be talking about something that happened along the way. And I just want to throw it out there with you. I want to share it with you guys out there. But it's not meant, again, to badmouth eBay in any way. Okay. Yeah, that's basically what it's all about. So I do hope you get, that you find this YouTube channel helpful, and you find it inspiring, and you share this information with others. So I just want to throw that out there to you guys. Thank you again. Have a great day. Until next time, bye-bye for now.